of ginger, 3 tomatoes, 1 onion, and a huge load of okra, also called lady's finger. Now, I'm gonna remove the seeds of the green chili. Chop up the 1.5-inch piece of ginger and I'm gonna mash it. We don't want to mash it too much that it becomes one single big piece or patch, and then while eating one person gets it, all of it, and then freaks out. So yeah, we just wanna flatten the tiny little pieces. That's about it. Done. And the tomatoes. Can you see how I just took out a tiny conical piece out of it? I know, I learned it from Gordon Ramsay ages ago. That was the best trick. He used to say never waste more than that much of a tomato. That's about it. So the classic okra lentil soup doesn't use as many tomatoes, but I do, and trust me, it gives such a rich flavor to it. You should try this way. You'll never use less tomatoes. Yep. Coming to the onions. I know, this one's not a friendly one. Look at it. It's got many other fully formed onions inside of it. It's a pain cutting these. Look at that. There's one more. What? They're like twins, triplets, quadruplets all in one? Or maybe it's just got a multiple personality disorder. It's the beast, man. Look at it. I hate these onions. You don't want a whole bunch when you're eating, so that's why we cut them slim. Yep. They don't make fun of me for cutting okra in a OCD way, but trust me, I've been doing this for about a decade. I know. I started it helping my mom, and yeah, I liked it. So I always help my mom cut just okra, nothing else. Look at them. Butter, just butter. This is the basic version of veggie lentil soup, to which other veggies can be added. Single vegetable lentil soups taste so uniquely different from each other. You gotta taste them to know them. On festivals or some special days, we resort to making vegetable lentil soup with all vegetables, like all kinds of them, pumpkin, bottle gourd and all. That tastes different in its own right. All tangy, spicy, sweet, and you name it, you got it. I know there's too many okra, right? I know, I'm greedy. I get greedy when I make soups. I wanna have a load of them. Like, I wanna have like 2 pieces of okra for every single spoon. I know that's too much, but yeah, they're so good, man. The veggie prep is done, and now the dal. 2.5 heaped handfuls and a half of dal. This is masoor dal or the pink dal with the skin off, and these are the halves. I use halves because they cook faster, and yep, you're supposed to wash them real good. Look at the water turning milky. Yep, and add 1 cup of water or 250 ml, or just 1 inch above the surface of the dal. That way you'll never go wrong. If you're cooking without a cooker, you gotta bring it to a boil and then simmer on low until the dal turns soft. And that's 1.5 teaspoon of salt. For those of you using a pressure cooker like me, bring it up to a boil and then simmer for not more than 7 minutes, meaning turn the flame to the lowest just before the first whistle and then turn it off at 7-minute mark. Now for the saute, 1 teaspoon of any neutral oil in a deep pan, 1 teaspoon fenugreek seeds, half a teaspoon cumin, half a teaspoon mustard, and just a tiny hint of asafoetida. For those who are not aware of asafoetida, it's a resin-like gum that comes from the root of a plant. It has a very strong flavor profile. It's not everybody's cup of tea to sniff asafoetida. I warn you against it strongly. But yeah, it adds a great flavor profile to the dishes you add it to. Wait for the seeds to start splattering, but don't burn them. And in go the ginger, chilies and onion. On medium heat, fry this up a little. Tomatoes in and okra in. On medium heat, mix them up to coat them in the flavorful oil. I know the greed. There's no space to mix them. Half a teaspoon turmeric, half a teaspoon red chili powder, and half a teaspoon salt. I'm gonna pour them into a huge thick bottom saucepan so I can mix them up real well and cover them up. Add a huge handful of chopped coriander. The trick is to cover the veggies up and not open them until the 7-minute mark so they don't lose their steam. We're not gonna add water. They're gonna cook in their own moisture, so not opening it until the 7-minute mark is the key. We've timed it perfectly so the lentils are done and ready to be mashed. There you go. Steam and all, they're already soft, and there we mash it. Sometimes when the lentils are not that juicy, sometimes they can turn out pretty thick. Then you can't just put them into the veggies. A bit of elbow grease is required in these scenarios. So this is a footage of another day when the lentils came out pretty thick, and I wanted to show you what you're supposed to do when they are hot. That's the key. You gotta mix them and add hot or warm water, never cold water. Little by little add water and mash them up and make them into thick soupy consistency before you add them to the veggies. Look at our veggies all steaming and ready to receive the lentils. They're all perfectly cooked, not overcooked. The okra isn't disintegrating, and yet it's cooked through and soft and tender. You can see it. And now we pour the lentil in. We add water to it, 100 ml at a time, because you can always dilute it but never make it thick. I mean, you can technically, but it'll lose all its flavor with all the extra heating. It'll never taste the same. What I do is never add more water than just until the lady's finger are just submerged, or until they're underwater but they have their nose above water. Look at the beautiful colors. I'm mixing to see if that's enough water or we need more. Yep, that's about how much water we need. I don't think I'm gonna dilute it more. And now we gotta bring it to a boil. There you see. That's tamarind soaked in hot water about 15 minutes ago. You gotta squeeze it to make it into tamarind paste. Just when the soup comes to a boil, I'm gonna add the tamarind juice. Think of tamarind like soy sauce. So if you have store-bought tamarind, it's pretty thick, so you can't use as much as I'm using here. Think of store-bought tamarind as dark soy, and light soy equivalent to the tamarind that is diluted or the one made at home. So I have used 3 tablespoons of tamarind juice. I think that's enough. This is the time when we check for taste, add more tamarind or chili powder or salt or whatever if needed. I'm adding a little more, so that's 3.5 tablespoons of tamarind. It's coming to a boil and the color is changing. I've added 1 tablespoon of jaggery. You can add brown sugar if you don't have jaggery. 1 teaspoon coriander powder, coriander seed powder. One-fourth of a teaspoon ground black pepper. Some cold water to avoid clumping, and 1/4 teaspoon turmeric. That's the color I was going for. Perfect. Bring it to a boil and turn it off after one last taste test.